Okay, we're back. We had some technical difficulties. And I guess Midnight wants to show us something from Stu
Yeah.
Peters.
So let's see. If I make this bigger, does that work? We got to do the. Oh, I got to move the window a little bit. There we go. Oh, no, I got to fix that.
Is there any context or are we just going to watch?
Just watch. Just watch. Make sure you listen. I got to do the pause thing because there's copyrightable music in it. So I'm going to have to do a bunch of pauses, but it's only a minute long. Check the
Okay.
volume on that. Okay. Here we go.
And love Brandon. I mean, who's going to want to take on somebody who's still...
Did you? Here, let me just. What does that say? Go ahead and read that, Jez.
I once thought I would never meet somebody who could love me and love Brandon. What an ironic and unfortunate name, especially in these times.
These trying times.
What do you see in this frame?
I see a guy in a green shirt. They're at like a restaurant, maybe a Denny's or an IHOP, and then a guy in a yellow shirt who appears to be some form of disabled.
Okay, good. You're at speed. Let's keep going.
And love Brandon. I mean, who's going to want to take on somebody who still loves their former...
I mean, who's going to want to take on somebody who still loves their former husband? Now, is that guy Brandon's ex-husband?
Let's continue and see if we can illuminate what the fuck is going on here.
Former husband. But James surpassed all my dreams I had of how a few...
Okay, so we have established that the guy in the green shirt, his name is James? And Brandon is the disabled guy. Okay.
And what's his relationship to the woman talking?
Is James her husband or is Brandon her husband?
Well, one of them was described as former husband. Which one do you think that is?
James.
No.
Oh, the chick. Nope. I'm confused. Keep it rolling.
Okay.
Future partner could love Brandon. James has never expressed or shown any jealousy. He's never questioned my unwavering love for Brandon or given pause to the role B plays in our family. Instead, he's accepted Brandon.
Okay, so the chick is married to Brandon, or was married to Brandon.
Yeah.
And now she's married to James. So they have like some kind of weird cuck caregiver relationship.
Let's continue. Get ready to hate
I'm always ready to hate.
Oh boy.
And with wide open arms. I've overheard him proudly sharing the story of our family and how Brandon fits.
I'm just pausing it because I have to because of the fucking copyrightable music.
In it. With a grateful heart, I've stepped aside as James has insisted on transferring B, picking up.
She calls him B. Oh God, like a little boy, like a child. Let's get through it.
His wheelchair, doing the heavy lifting. Sometimes I wish I could go back in time and tell the lonely, grieving woman in her early 20s.
The lonely, grieving woman. So she wants to reassure her younger self. I'll fill you in on some details. Don't you worry.
But this story isn't over. But even though you can't fathom what life could be like, I promise it gets better.
Does this guy being helped into the car, do you think that his life gets better?
No.
It's not looking like that.
No. Doesn't look like his life is going to get, yeah.
I mean, if he was doing it like a job, maybe, but...
I'm talking about the guy being helped into the car.
Probably no. If something happened to me and I was that profoundly disabled, just either give me the morphine, overdose me on morphine, or suffocate me with the pillow.
Oh, shit. It's better. Even though you are wandering in the wilderness and there's wasteland all around you, someday, there's going to be a path in that wilderness.
The things that this video confirmed for me, it's
and a stream
quite amazing.
and wasteland. Just hold on.
All right. So,
Um,
Jez, what is this video that we just saw about?
well, apparently this woman was married to Brandon at one point,
Yep.
and something happened to him where he became profoundly disabled, and then
Yep.
she got a new guy to pick up the slack, so to say.
She fucking divorced the guy. So apparently he was in an accident. Excuse me, he was in an accident.
Yeah.
And he got severe brain trauma, and he has this like whatever it is thing going on, right? But clearly
Yeah.
he can't wipe his own ass is where he's at. He can't feed himself, and his fucking wife divorced him and replaced him, and now once a month takes him out for an IHOP meal with her new fucking husband.
I mean, in some cases that's not bad, because I've known people who've done that
The
sort of
vow
thing.
is
Maybe not with profound disability, but maybe like if they're like older or they have like a good relationship. But
the vow is in sickness and in health.
yeah,
That's the vow. In sickness and in health. And if she were in his position, where she was profoundly disabled, and he just abandoned her so that he could go pump some strange a little bit and then bring one home, and then bringing the cunt that he replaced her with to take her out for her once a month meal of slop at Denny's, I think that she would feel differently about this. This video pisses me off so much. It purely encapsulates the solipsism that has and lack of loyalty that has become woman. This woman fucking abandoned her husband and replaced him in front of his face. He would have been better off if she left and never saw him again. And there are people rationalizing this. Oh, maybe he's happy. No, he's not fucking happy.
I don't see him happy.
He's not. I mean, he's brain damaged, so his short-term memory is probably fucking eradicated. But like, on that spiritual level, man, this guy is
in hell.
He is living in hell. He is living in hell, and the amount of
As I said, if that kind of shit happened to me, just take me the fuck out, end my suffering, bring me to Canada and have them pump me up with my thing, with their death juice.
Second hubby is selfless. First hubby has a best friend and still gets to live at home with his family. The lack of empathy for this fucking guy and embracing of enabling this evil cunt blows my mind.
I like, excuse me for the tangent, but I like what Bosman here is saying. I think liberals just don't know what the word brave means, so they use it for anything they like. Yes.
Well,
yes, they do
well,
that
they
shit
use,
all the time.
Yeah.
They use words to manipulate, not to describe. So all good words equal me, and all bad words equal not me. All good people are me, all bad people are not me. They have a 2-year-old's fucking intellect.
Basically.
For liberals,
sad
men
that
using makeup is brave. Yes. That speaks volumes.
If any woman you know rationalizes this, she will do it to you. Get away from her. I don't know, it fucking blows my mind that people can try and rationalize this. That's the video I wanted to share. It just fucking... It's like, wow, they're getting worse. They're getting worse.
Well, I mean, that's disgusting, but I mean, I've seen people who had like similar relationships, but they didn't like go on the social media and say, "Oh, look at me, give me all the likes and hearts and whatever."
What do you mean similar relationships?
Like I know people who had um who had like disabled like relatives, or I don't know. I had a friend who had like his parents were like had this arrangement where they were like separated but they still did stuff together, and I thought that was kind of weird.
Well, that sounds like they were giving some semblance of a family dynamic to their kids.
Mhm. But
Were their
then I also
kids
then
were their kids still school aged?
mhm.
Yeah, that's different. These this isn't you're not talking about a disabled couple. You're talking about a couple that actually will divorce eventually. They're just keeping it together so that their kids can
I
have
don't think they actually divorced.
stability. No, you don't think so?
Yeah, cuz they're like cuz to me it looks like they're married, but then they're just doing their own separate thing. Like
Well,
there
what
was
does
no
that mean?
mention of like a stepdad or I don't know. I wish I could have asked my friend about it, but I didn't think it was like appropriate at the time.
Are they? So you're saying that they're married, but they're I don't know. That there's not enough clear here.
Like they're
Uh,
married,
they're
but
fucking
then
other
they
people. Is that what you're
no,
saying?
they're it to me it doesn't look like they're I never really interacted with the parents, but the few times that I did, like the mom was always doing her own thing and the dad had his own thing. I
But
never
what does
saw
that
like other
mean? What does
people
doing her own thing mean? I don't know what that
like
means.
they're living separately yet they're still married and she's doing like
Uh-huh.
her own life.
Okay, but the part that we're missing here is the abandonment of the relationship. Are they fucking other people?
Not that I could tell.
Okay.
No, I don't think not that I could tell.
So those are people who they are in the direction of divorce, but they're not replacing one another. The replacing one another is the important part here.
I don't know. They were from Oconomowoc, and people in Oconomowoc are fucking weird sometimes.
I don't know what that means. What's a Kanamwa?
It's a town.
Oh,
It's a town. It's a town in Wisconsin.
Never go to a carnival.
It's part of apparently it's a suburb of Milwaukee now.
Okay.
oh, okay.
Duly noted.
Uh,
Never go there.
well, there's not enough Nog activity, but it's more like Oconomowoc is like old rich. There's like old rich people there because there's like mansions. There's like two lakes on either side, and a lot of rich people have like their mansions by the lake. It's weird.
Yeah,
The whole lake country is fucking weird because you have all like the rich people from Milwaukee who like don't want to stay in like what is it, Whitefish Bay.
yeah. I don't know what that means.
It's another town. It's another like suburb of Milwaukee where like all the rich white people are. Some people call it White Folks Bay.
Okay. Yeah, the important part of this story is that this lady abandoned her husband when he got fucking debilitated and then waved her stunt cock in his face. That's the important part of the story. I find it ridiculously inhumane and cruel. And I think that the people who are rationalizing it are going to do it in that circumstance. So, guys, if you're involved with a chick, show her this video. If she rationalizes it, dump her on the spot and tell her that's why.
I will reiterate that if I ever find myself in a situation as the husband, just kill me right away, end my suffering, and I will gladly do the same to Canales if he was in the position of that poor
Well,
Brandon.
if I was the husband that's in a wheelchair and you were the wife to do that to me, I would probably use like my last brain activity and my waning strength to hire a hitman and have us both shot. How's that?
I'd just take
Okay, I
care of
like
my wife
that.
until our dying day because I believe in the fucking vows of marriage. That's all.
I mean, but the boss don't say anything about like having your your whore wife shot and then yourself for him being an insufferable cunt. I don't know. That's it though.
No,
I've
no,
I never got married, so I don't know.
no, no. I would probably like, with your consent, I would like take you to like Switzerland or Belgium where they do like the euthanasia, and then I will have like at least 1 year of mourning before I decide to go out and
Just
find a new.
chain me to a privately owned nuclear device and drop me over Portland.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Or
We'll
Canada.
we'll we'll add that to the list of things to put in the will. Say so. I guess we know that DeSantis is going to do the thing, and because of the
Yeah.
thing, he says he's going to he lays out a plan to tackle the culture war and vows to leave woke ideology in the dustbin of history. And and he always said that Florida is where the woke goes to die.
I don't dislike that
DeSant-
statement.
DeSantis's excuse me, DeSantis's decision to run right now is profoundly tone deaf.
Mm,
And I like DeSantis. At least I like him enough. I have trust issues with him since he's signing anti 1A bills in Israel, but there's a
yeah.
lot that he's done that I like, and I his inability to read the room on this tells me that he would not make a good president.
Uh,
Still too young.
I'm not too. I'm not too politically minded, but I'm kind of like on the fence between Ron DeSantis and RFK Jr.
Um, RFK Jr. is all right, but I need to see him put some heads on pikes.
Yeah, because
Like
with RFK, with RFK Jr., you know what you're getting to. You're getting a fucking Kennedy, and he sounds like he has a good plan. I'm not. I'm not too keen on his whole vaccines hangups.
I mean, after what we just went through, I'm
Hmm.
I'm entertaining all vaccine skepticism from this point on.
Bro, after what we've gone through, not being a vaccine skeptic doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, exactly. And I
At the
used to be
very
one of
least,
those
you should be a
people,
skeptic.
like when someone before all this happened, when someone would be like, "Oh, I'm anti-vax," I'd be like, "Okay, can you explain your causality to me?" And they would very quickly turn to, "Here's a link, here's a link, here's a link." When what I wanted them to do was use their own words to explain it to me. Because if you can't explain an idea in your own words, then you don't understand that idea. And I'd
Which is
never
something that
had
leftists do all the time. Like they will refer
that's
you
because they
to
use
what.
words to manipulate, not to describe.
And
Mhm.
then and then if you try to refute them with like your own research, they go, source. Do you got a source for that? I need a source for
Yeah.
that.
So I've always been it's not that I'm not open to an argument, but I need you to make the argument. And no person who is vaccine critical has ever made that argument to me. But then after what just happened, nah, it's all back on the table now.
So, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis officially kicked off his thing, announcing his candidacy on the Twitter Spaces with Elon Musk and vowing to leave woke ideology in the dustbin of history. As we said before, he has repeatedly called Florida the place where woke goes to die, and as president, he would continue to take a firm stance on the culture war. The thing I also like about DeSantis is he has military background because we sorely needed a president with a military background.
We need a warlord, or as we say
Yeah,
in Spanish, a caudillo.
because who was the last guy who had like actual military experience? Was it Eisenhower?
Don't ask
Wait,
me. I'm
was
not even
Reagan in the
American.
military?
I
Was
think
it, I think
Reagan was in the military, but I don't know if he actually saw action or not.
he was in the office of propaganda, whatever
Yeah.
that's called. I forget what it's called. So Reagan was in the military. Bush Senior was in the military.
Yeah,
Bush Jr. was in the military.
Yeah, in the Texas Air Force.
Allegedly.
Jimmy Carter was not in the military. Gerald Ford was in the military. So the current exceptions are Jimmy Carter, Clinton. No, Clinton was in the National Guard. So Jimmy Carter and Obama and
Well, I
Trump.
was
And
yeah,
Trump.
but I was also gonna say like DeSantis actually was in combat. I'm talking about we need someone who actually had been in combat,
He was
and I don't
JAG.
know.
He was a
Really?
lawyer. He was JAG. Yeah. That doesn't mean he
Oh.
wasn't in combat, but he was JAG.
Well,
Yeah, because
that reminds me
I mean
of.
he had like the full like battle uniform and everything.
He
in a
was an
picture that I
interrogator at
saw.
Gitmo.
Okay.
That reminds me of how things used to be with the presidency in Mexico, because after the Mexican revolutions, most of the presidents in Mexico used to be soldiers who fought in the Civil War.
Yeah.
I think the last one was Miguel Alemán.
When was that?
Alemán, I think it was in the 50s.
Really? It's been that long?
Yeah, that's kind of the same with I think our last actual president who saw combat was Eisenhower, because he was a general in the World War II.
I don't think any of our presidents have actually seen any combat since Franco.
Oh, I think Bush Senior saw combat.
Oh yeah, because was he?
Remember, his
No.
hands were fucking dirty. He like both good and bad. Like he got in the shit. You can't claim that George Bush Senior was not an operator. Whether you like him or
Okay.
not, he got up to stuff.
Okay, I take that back. Bush Senior, he was probably our last technically combat
Yeah,
president.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah, because that's what we also need to. Because a man who can do good on the battlefield should also be good at like leading a country. We don't need any more like what is it, like intellectual people, like businessmen. We need like an actual.
Remember what
Cool.
Robert I. Heinlein said in the Starship Troopers? Like, the intellectuals drove the world to the brink of collapse, and the veterans have to like stage a coup and take over.
I do firmly believe that if you're going to send men to die, you should have been in that situation yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You will not understand it until you are in it. Mm-hmm. So I do agree with that.
But yes, DeSantis says that the woke mind virus is basically a form of cultural Marxism. Well, it is.
Not wrong.
At the end of the day, it's an attack on truth, and because it's a war on truth, I think we have no choice but to wage a war on woke. And so, how does that work for president? What?
DeSantis running has taken my benefit of the doubt away from him. It's really shown that he doesn't either see or care about the big picture, and he really shouldn't be fighting with Trump. The two of them should be fucking working together. This is all bad fucking play. It's all bad play.
Yeah, this was my like at the beginning before he announced like Trump should have at least had him as vice president, if not maybe a key member of the candidate if he ever gets the second go at the presidency.
his time to run is 28. He should finish up in Florida because that's a 4-year term and he's got 2 more years after the election. So he should complete his obligation to Florida and then get it together to do the presidency. He's showing to be really short-sighted, and that concerns me.
Yeah. But the other thing is like I get to hear like all the coping and seething and dilating from from Florida Troons
Yeah.
and all the other degenerates down there.
They could just go to Minnesota.
At least he's calling it a war, which is what it is. It's a cold war.
Yeah.
It's an information war. It is a war.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it even more painful to like have a problem with DeSantis. Is there's so many reasons to like him, but the big fucking one really kills me.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. In education specifically, the candidate shared that since the federal government approves accreditors for university, his role as a president would be look at whether they are trying to push an agenda. He says, I'll make sure we're approving accreditors that are going to do the opposite, that they are going to say, we're going to accredit you if you're a colorblind university, if you're not trying to divide people on the basis of race. He explained, so there are different tools at your disposal. It's not the same as a governor, but I think you can have impact across a wide variety. Okay, this is kind of good because I think we do need to hold universities put their feet to the fire after what's been happening.
So the what happened with universities? Here's what happened with universities, is that they started, and I don't know like the bureaucratic processes in specific that happened, but what happened was administrators figured out two things. One, that bumping admissions gave them access to more money. Well, I guess that's the biggest thing of all. So like a lot of these universities, what they did was they would pull anyone in. They would get enrollment by any means necessary, and a lot of times that meant turning to international students that maybe shouldn't have been there. I think that was a big part of the scam, was pulling in international students, and somehow this got the money, and then they started expanding facilities. Like I went to a community college that had a football field. There was zero reason for my community college to have a football field. They did not have a football team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what happened was, by expanding the student body and expanding the facilities, which made them justify expanding the student body even further, they bumped the money coming in and could give themselves these enormous raises. And then the administrative bloat that came with that is out of fucking control. So the colleges all need to be downsized, and their administrative ranks need to be fucking raised. Good luck with that. That's what needs to happen now. If not, shut every single one of them down.
And then maybe do something about the losers who cried, I'm in $500,000 of student debt. Well,
so
that's the person who has the degree in feminist dance studies.
The other side of that argument is this, and I'll relate it from my own story. I grew up with everybody around me telling me to go to college. Every single fucking adult around me, go to college, go to college, go to college, go to college. But none of them would get involved with what I was interested in. I got no guidance. I got zero academic or professional guidance growing up, right? So I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. And when I went to college, my first major was philosophy. It was a terrible fucking idea. But there was nobody telling me how to steer the ship. I was trying to, I had ideas, but I had no fucking guidance. And I was young and angry and stupid and whatever. And the colleges were happy to rope me into debt. My opinion, and this probably would not cover much of my student debt. So this isn't as much self-interest as it is just empathy from having been there, is that the college debt should be discharged onto the administrators who defrauded the students.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you handle that. Because
I wish.
the
I wish I could have
reality.
went to
Go
art
ahead.
school. Said I wish I would have went to like an art school or
I
did
mean, art.
some type of.
Nah, you don't want that. Maybe 20, 30 years ago that would have been a good idea. Nowadays they're fucking scams. It's not worth.
Yeah, back before the studios all went digital, there were things that you could
Mm.
learn in art school that would be usable in a commercial arts sense. But
Yeah.
art schools have no commercial sensibilities. Ironically, I actually did go to an art school ultimately, but it was for a technical field. So I have a technical degree, but I had to go to an art school to get it. But those colleges all defrauded minors. So those college administrators should all be tried and found guilty for defrauding minors and the debt discharged onto them.
I
And
think
parents need to.
even the Clownfish TV guys mentioned that art school is useless because most of the people who go to, for example, college, all that bullshit is only for make the connections in order to work later in the field. But not really
Yeah.
because they teach you to draw or anything like that. Because most of that stuff you can learn it on your own.
Well, these days, the tutorials that are available on YouTube and the fact, like, most illustrators that put up tutorials on YouTube will help you. You just have to email them. They might want $50. You know, you tip them and you say, "Hey, can you help me with this?" They'll probably help you. That's a whole lot cheaper
I
than
would have
going to college.
happily, yeah, pay, I don't know, Alfonso Dan or like the guy from Peter Draws like $50 a month for like a personalized tip, you know? Otherwise,
Yeah.
I just need to watch their fucking videos. Like I've learned much more. Like I remember one of the videos that changed my life was watching Neil Adams draw, explaining how you are supposed to hold the pen or the brush, you know? Because you're not, I was never told that something so simple. You are not supposed to hold the pen the same when you're writing than when you're drawing. Because when you're writing, you're like writing small characters, and when you're drawing, you're like doing like quick, broad lines and strokes. So you're supposed to hold your pen or your brush with 3 fingers and use your elbow or your shoulder.
Three
fucking years
fingers, no thumb.
like your thumb, your index finger, and your middle finger, because that gives you
Okay.
more control. That gives you like more control. There's just Google that shit it's on YouTube. Neil Adams
Yeah,
explains how to properly hold a pen, and you know,
I'm trying the motion.
Well, it requires practice. Like at first, I didn't feel it. Like, oh, this is fucking weird, and now I do it all the time, like unconsciously. Like my hand just does it automatically when I like want to draw like something big, you know. But yeah, like six fucking years in art school, and nobody told me something so simple and so essential for the for drawing.
Part of that is because your teachers didn't give a fuck about.
No, absolutely, they did not.
Yeah. Even now, like I'm a pretty fucking skilled audio engineer, but my comfort zone is in live stuff. So for being in the box and in the editing environment, this stuff, I have to remind myself how to route mid-side processing almost every time I do it, because I just like there's a couple of weeks that goes by between times of me using it. I'm like, oh right, yeah, that's how you do it. There's so much stuff on the internet as a learning resource that you can use at your own pace. No one's telling you how to do it. You're not being graded. You just do it. And if you like doing it, you do it again.
Mm-hmm.
College is completely fucking pointless. And a ripoff.
If you live in a country that suffers from titleitis, as we call it, by which people are like more demanding of the titles you have than the skills you actually have, maybe you do need to. But in my experience, to work in the US, like you don't need any titles. They will like pay you according to your skill level.
People get a little bit certificate. There is a little bit of titleitis in the US, but the thing is, when you're in certain technical fields, like mine, high level skill is not common to come by. So you just say, okay, well, I'm not getting it, so you can hire someone else, and they'll probably hire you anyway.
All right. What else from this article? Let's see. DeSantis added he would lean it against woke ideology and against the sexualization of children, as he should. He also addressed the public dispute with Disney after Florida Senate dissolved the company's self-governing status in April 2022. Disney filed a lawsuit against DeSantis, alleging he orchestrated a targeted campaign of government retaliation against the company that violates Disney's free speech rights. No, Disney tossing in like Troon stuff in your media does not count as uh I don't know. It is free speech, but it's more indoctrination than free speech. That's what I
I mean
would
that
say.
it is freedom of speech. Um, but we have what's the word that I'm looking for? Obscenity laws when it
Mm.
comes to children. We regulate not only that, but children don't have the rights of majority, so we regulate many things that children are allowed to
Way I
be
see it,
exposed to.
way I see it is as simple as that. Like walking up to a girl and telling her, "Hey, I found you really attractive. You wanna go back to my place and bang?" That's not illegal. Walking up
Right.
to a minor, to a little boy,
Exactly.
and telling them the same thing, that is highly illegal.
That is, you go in the wood chipper. That's it. That's exactly. That is exactly the fucking point.
Into the wood
And
chipper beds the sharks.
anyone who tries to fucking play semantic games about that, they go into the fucking wood chipper too. I'm not playing this shit.
All right. Let's see. The legal complaint is an escalation of a fight between DeSantis and Disney that began last year when the company campaigned to overturn the the parental rights and education law. When the company campaigned to overturn it's the it's the apparently don't say gay bill. Um, in Florida, we believe the protection of children. We believe it's inappropriate to be jamming things like transgender ideology into elementary school classrooms, right? And we had a bill to protect parents and children from that in Florida. Disney opposed it. They tried to tank it. They usually get what they want throughout history of Florida. But with me as governor, that wasn't going to fly. And then signed the bill, and we protected our kids. But Disney has gone down the road of wanting to put sexualization into children's programming. So the company definitely has lost its way in terms of values that maybe they had when Walt established it or when it first started in Florida.
I'm worried that DeSantis is going to turn out to be a rhino in disguise.
If he's a rhino, he has been doing a pretty damn good job.
Well, the whole purpose of a sleeper agent is to get to a high office and then turn. You know, so you have to play along to get there. So he'll play along to get. And the thing is, sleeper agents don't necessarily.
I was gonna say kind of like Musk did when he hired the weftard.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how that turns out. But yeah, that's not a bad example. Sleeper agents don't necessarily know that they're sleeper agents. Watch The Manchurian Candidate.
The one with Denzel Washington or the one with Jimmy Stewart?
The one with Frank Sinatra.
Oh, Frank
Is that
Sinatra. No,
yeah.
hold on. Let me. I think it was. I thought it was. I know it was Frank Sinatra, but I know Frank Sinatra and Angela Lansbury were.
Yeah, Angela Lansbury is in it. She's fucking terrifying in that movie. Holy shit, she's terrifying in that movie. I've never been afraid of Angela Lansbury. I watched that movie a couple of months back. I didn't actually finish watching it.
Now it makes some sense. The whole Murder She Wrote show, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, that show made me see. She was she was fucking hot when she was young, but that I didn't see her young until after I saw her as old. So I kind of thought of her as like grandmotherly, like you know, you want to fucking give her a hug and eat some cookies and help her lift something heavy. Watching the Manchurian Candidate terrified me. Evil grandma.
Okay, yeah. I must have been thinking of Jimmy Stewart in a similar movie, but the actors are Frank Sinatra, Lawrence Harvey, and Angela Lansbury with Janet Leigh.
Yeah, watch it. The sleeper doesn't know that they're a sleeper in that movie. So if Ron is like there's a chance that Ron doesn't even know that he's serving a purpose, but he is serving a purpose. I hope that's not the case. I don't want that to be the case. But the way that things are playing out with him makes me so suspicious.
That's I don't know. That's why if I were that's why if I had the power to do the elections, it would be probably between RFK and Trump. Because I
I mean,
mean,
RFK could be a sleeper as well. That's kind of what I'm worried about with RFK. His whole snooty putting his nose up to Trump bothered me because, again, honestly, all three of those guys should be working together because if they mean any of what they say in the big picture, they all have the same goal. So they really ought to be working together. They really ought to be creating a united dissident front that is American nationalist and American restorationist.
okay. So here's our last article for the night. A Twitter bug is restoring deleted tweets and retweets, including my own. Not my own because I've been banned because I'm such a naughty little boy and I don't like troons,
And furries.
despite me being one. Myself, I'm the Uncle Ruckus of
I was gonna say you're
transgenders.
the Uncle Ruckus of
Yes,
trans.
I'm the Uncle Ruckus of
You're on the Uncle
transgenders.
Trocus.
So I apologize for my outburst. Shit, I was gonna do that. I was going to make a Twitter account where I was Uncle Trunkus, and then I was going to reply to like GangStop saying like I apologize for my outburst.
That's pretty funny.
Yep. So users are reporting that tweets that they mass deleted are reappearing on their profiles. It's another example of Twitter's unpredictable behavior under Old Muskie. Oh, wait, hold on. Mass deleted are reappearing. Oh, 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 maybe this is a good thing.
Why do you say that?
Um, imagine, okay, so imagine our dipshit haters deleting a tweet.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh.
Yeah, man. Nothing
You,
is
you
ever
smell you
truly
smell what I'm
deleted.
stepping in?
I smell what you're stepping in.
All right, so this James Vincent guy probably he has pronouns in bio. Says earlier this year, the 8th of May, deleted all his tweets, just under 5,000 of them. He knows the exact day because he tweeted about it. Fucking nerd. This morning, he discovered that Twitter had restored a handful of his old retweets, interactions he knows he scrubbed from his profile, and those retweets are gone. He surveyed his timeline with satisfaction before thinking, "Great, time to draw attention to myself." But now they're back. You can see them by scrolling down my timeline past May 8th. Even more appealing when you select tweets with replies. Blah blah. He says something There's a video of kids cheering a construction worker, a Sopranos meme about Lindy, but the oldest dates back to 2020. A video from the Grog Flard protests that he would have shared when they were happening. And why on earth is Twitter restoring that information? And he says that it's nothing good, obviously. Nothing good for you, but hell of a lot good for us. When these
I
sneaky
was
little, yeah,
I
when
was
these sneaky
thinking
little
recently,
bastards decide to, yeah.
these like the internet has reached a point of complexity where there is, and I was thinking about this at the same time as I was thinking about the New York subway system. So the same concept applying to both. The systems have reached such a level of complexity that there really isn't anyone alive who understands it in its entirety enough to predict how the specifics will act. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I build a system, an audio system in a room, I understand that system entirely. I know every piece in that system. I know everything that it's going to do. I know every setting on every single set of gear. Because I set it myself. Mostly, I may not have built everything, but if I didn't hang the speakers were hung to my specifics, and I checked them. Blah blah blah. Right? But the internet is way bigger than a fucking audio system in any size room. So I there I don't think that there's anyone alive that really has a full intimate working knowledge of how the entire thing works. So we're getting to a point of technomancy where it's like inherited system upon improvised break fix and jury rigged this. Like this is a result of that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is what
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying
then
making sense?
yeah, and then he checked his timeline after seeing a post of Mastodon in which a user complained on May 17th that uh 34,000 of his deleted tweets have been restored. Uh-huh. What have you been hiding? I wonder. Then last November, I deleted my tweets, every single one. Then I ran redact and deleted all my likes, my media and retweets, tooted open source developer Dick Morell. What have you been hiding? And then he also says, woke up to find 30,000 them back restored by Twitter, who presumably bought a server farm back up, now redeleting. This
Yeah,
shows why you should not be using Twitter ever.
But that's going to happen in any system of this size. That's the point that I'm making, is there is no like, you need to have people that have the whole system in their head, and that doesn't exist. And the way that corporations run, that's not going to exist, because the people that are capable of having that whole system, and think about how autistic you have to have the whole of Twitter's system in your head. They're not going to hire those people. They're going to be Asian or white.
And if they're Asian, most likely a Pajit.
No, Pajits don't actually have that ability. They're good at mimicking it. It's true. They're good at mimicking it, but they don't actually have the systems analysis ability. They can do like jury rigged stuff. They can do copy and pasted stolen code and shit, but they don't have the origination ability. It's partly because of the way their culture functions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Eastern European, like Eastern Europeans can do crazy shit with technology.
Maybe. I would probably
it's a maybe.
I would probably trust some Armenian guy over a Pajit.
Yeah. So the idea that, this is specifically Twitter, no. Any system of this complexity that goes through corporate administrative bureaucratic change is going to end up this way.
Well, now that I'm reading more, they're basically griping that whatever's happening, it's another demonstration of Twitter's crumbling infrastructure and inability to fulfill even the basic functions it promises users. Some of these failings predate Elon Musk's takeover of the company, but there's been an uptick in bugs since Musk initiated mass firings. while users reporting similar glitches like newish interference, like private tweets being made public. They say that the issue is trivial, but it points to a larger problem. Twitter is still an important tool for activists, whistleblowers, and protesters around the world, and there's a reason why Turkey is forcing the company to block certain tweets during its ongoing elections. And then they continue saying, griping about Musk, basically. So that was the whole Twitter thing. So bad for those guys, but good for us if we want to get the dirt.
They're
One
also
last,
goddamn stupid.
also one last thing. Grab this from Kenny Lauderdale. Twitter closing inactive account. So this is a thing. Twitter is closing inactive accounts. Google is closing inactive accounts. The Internet Archive and a Wayback Machine are under attack, and Nintendo is going after emulators. Well, that sucks. So
Internet
now we gotta
Archive.
back up anything.
Do we remember who owns Internet Archive?
I do not.
Taylor Lorenz's uncle.
Oh.
That's why she gets away with the shit she gets away with.
I am in shock.
Yeah.
And then he also has the yes, I'm aware Google isn't deleting YouTube videos yet, but they are still clearing old unused accounts. That's a fact. Has anyone been noticing these on other sites? I'm sure there's smaller communities I don't even know exist going belly up slowly, maybe the message boards. So yeah. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of videos about like lost media, and it's a really interesting thing.
Define lost
Really
media.
best us about it.
Like it could be from like TV shows and movies. Like for example, they recently found the uh, the Sesame Street episode where Margaret Hamilton, the OG Wicked Witch, starred as the Wicked Witch, but it got pulled because kids got scared of it.
Oh, really? I kind of remember
Yeah.
that happening. Like, I don't think I ever saw it, but I remember hearing about it.
Yeah, and then they also like try to look for lost like commercials and all that kind of stuff.
So there is a commercial. There is a commercial. I think it was an Old Spice. Maybe it was Old Spice. It was for a liquid body wash that came in like a Jergens pump container. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get you.
And there's a part in the commercial where the guy pumps he pumps the body wash into his hand. You're guessing what this looks like. And he holds it close to his face and sniffs it and goes, "What's this jizz?"
Oh.
And I remember I was probably 13 or 14 when I saw this commercial. I'm like, none of these people that made this commercial knows what the word jizz means. And then I ultimately eventually did work in advertising, and I realized A, how fucking stupid advertisers are, and B, how old at that point in history they all were. So it was some like, 50-year-old, 60-year-old who heard their kids say the word, heard their grandkids say the word, and it made it into the commercial. It's like, bro, jizz. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it, but I guarantee you, if they knew that it meant loads, they probably wouldn't have put it in. The reason I bring that up is because I've been looking for that commercial for decades.
Well, the one that I've been looking for is much more innocent than that, and probably also more awesome. I think it's a Pepsi commercial in which, a fucking Pepsi vending machine is deposited right next to a Coke vending machine on some gas station in the middle of nowhere by a UFO, and then both machines turn into robots and fight.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Cool.
I think I've seen that one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember it was featured in a VHS tape that my mom brought from her office because my mom used to work in advertising. She was like a programming director or whatever, and periodically she would get these VHS tapes with like the coolest ads, or like the best ads, whatever. And I remember that one, like, well, I was a Transformers nerd, right? So, and I've been trying to find it online. I can't find it anywhere.
I am not against advertising in principle. Like, there is good advertising. It's possible.
Yeah, some
to
of
make
them
a
used to
good
be really, really
advertising.
good. That's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
that's why my mom bought that VHS tape home, because some of them were really good.
Some of the commercials I remember one was, I think it was for like some beer, either Budweiser or Bud Light, and it was like a guy laying out at a beach and he does something where like where like where like his nipples like pop out, and then he gets like a tan line, and
Oh, it's always
at
the
the end of
nipple
the
with you, isn't it?
commercial he is standing like by the bar with like a coconut bra on. Another Oh gosh, another one I remember, I think it was Coors, where a guy's drinking an ice cold beer and his nipples pop out. He's wearing a shirt and his nipples pop out because the beer is so cold. And then he's like, "Hey Jenny, come here," like his girlfriend.
That took me a second to get. I get it now.
That's
I
the
think
joke.
and then there was another one from Bud Light where it was like a guy invites his girlfriend over, but then she's also bringing her mom, and then her mom has like these crazy wide hips, and she could like barely get through the door or something.
That sounds familiar. Speaking of commercials, let's close it with a very funny commercial.
Oh,
I have one right here.
well, I have a couple here, but I don't know. I have one for the 98th annual uh, Tijuana Sausage Festival.
Oh god.
Have you guys seen this commercial?
Oh god.
No, do it, play it.
Hey, we're out canvassing for Beto O'Rourke.
Can we count on your vote?
No, I'm sorry. Look, I got a lot of letter writing to do.
Oh my god, it's the Zodiac Killer.
Hey, Sarah, you dropped this.
Yeah, we gotta go.
It's a Zodiac note, actually.
Don't worry.
I don't know what.
Don't.
Oh shit, did I just ruin the joke?
It's a fucking Zodiac note.
Aw, God damn it.
Yeah, they made you
Dude.
do it.
That is how you handle it. Like, that is how you handle it. Like, he can't be always doing it. Like, you can't do the same joke. But Ted Cruz handled the Zodiac Killer joke. It's one of the best fucking, like, controls of an own in 20th century media.
Well, I can't I can't do the Tijuana Sausage Festival one because it has copyrighted music. So AI Lost Media, please don't ding us for this. But
You
check
can
it
always
out.
just play the incoherent screams of unborn children as a soundtrack. I'm sure it'll be good.
When hunger strikes and you need a treat, Burger Blast is the place to meet. With juicy patties and cheese so melty, Burger Blast is where you need to be. Burger Blast, the place to be.
It looks like
Burgers
Black
so
Cole's
good,
son.
they'll set you free. Burgers out of this world, so
Holy
tasty
shit.
and unique. But what you don't know, they're from a planet you can't speak. The aliens have landed. These are bugs to
Is this a
Oh,
human?
yeah.
This is a human singing, right?
secrets in the
Yeah.
sauce. That's how they take their toll. Burger Blacks, the place to be. Resistance is futile. You'll be eating happily with fries on the side and a drink to
Okay.
quench your thirst. Burger Blast, the alien plot to take over the earth. So come on down to Burger Blast and take a bite
Okay.
of the
How
unknown.
long is this commercial?
You'll
Jesus
be
Christ!
doing
I get it.
It's like a minute.
It's for
long.
eternity.
Be
It's for
alone.
eternity, Midnight.
Come on down to Burger
I-
Blast today, and for a limited time, receive a free collectible hat with qualifying combo order.
All right, dude, that did the singing. Like, put a little fucking effort
Burger
into it.
Blast.
You want like people are sitting through this for a minute and a half. Like, put a little fucking
You know,
effort.
you know what this is? This is my punishment for having been a glutton in when I was alive on Earth,
It's
and this is what I'm sent.
Yes. Check the one I put in the private chat.
go watch the music video for Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's some
It's the
garden. What was the guy who made the Cunningham guy who made
Oh,
the Aphex Twin video? Come to Daddy.
I don't remember who that was that directed it, but yes. And
Yeah, I remember his last name
Also,
was Cunningham.
it's Brian Usna. It feels like
Mhm.
fucking
Society.
watching Society. Jesus,
You're
it's
welcome,
weird.
by the way. You're welcome,
so,
by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I wish he had
I
like
don't
20
know,
more
Omega,
movies I
what
could
you
watch.
put in the chat, should I show it on the live stream or wait until after?
I don't know. You decide.
Because
I'm just saying it's almost 3 a.m. and I gotta split. It's getting really late, so
Nah.
you gotta do it now.
Yeah, we should
Okay. It's a
play it,
Pepsi
and then
ad.
we'll end the stream.
All right. As I said, it's a Pepsi ad, and I don't know if they'll ding us.
We'll see what happens. If you have to mute it, mute it. I can mute it too.
All right.
These sumos are gonna rape these spics.
So what are we playing for?
That's Beckham.
Let's David Beckham.
Sure.
Well, he's definitely getting raped. Oh! Look how tiny that can is in his hands.
Those are probably Hawaiian, not Japanese.
No, the
It-
one guy was Hawaiian. The other guys are
Hawaiian.
probably like Japanese.
They look Samoan.
No,
The
actually,
brown guy
sumo is pretty big in.
definitely.
There's pretty big in Hawaii. There's a lot of like Hawaiians who become sumo wrestlers because they're apparently bigger than the Japanese.
Well, that makes sense. All right, let's end the stream.
All right. What are your plans? I'm working on a script.
I'm also writing. I'm taking some time off drawing after I completed all my assignments. They're on the way to print. So for the first time in 5 years, I'm not drawing. I'm like just. So yeah, I'm going back to writing. See what I come up with.
Nice.
Midnight. What are your plans?
I just got a brand new interface, audio interface. So some issues that I've been having with noise floor in my sound, I think that they are going to largely be mitigated by this brand new interface. Pretty excited. It sounds really good. It's a Mark of the Unicorn. It's way better than the Focusrite Scarlett product. I think I talked about it on the last stream, but I hadn't gotten here yet. It's got a better clock. I'm looking forward to using it.
Mega.
I have a peanut commissions of $200, and I got a couple of 3 modes that I have been chasing since 2013, and I'm experimenting with them.
All right. So that ends today's show, I guess. Staff, disappointed if you don't if any of y'all don't show up next week, you'll be terminated, and by terminated we means you get to become shark food, unfortunately. Everyone say
Yes.
your
All right.
goodbyes.
Have a nice night.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.